Now, during his first challenge in 2017, he had to be rescued by the RNLI twice, but then switched roles in August 2022, mid-challenge, when he then rescued 3 teenagers from a notorious stretch of the Norfolk coast. Now, he was the subject of our Crack the Code this morning as well. No, it's not Captain Pugwash, as excited as I would be to somehow think we've got Captain Pugwash on the show. But hey, even better, Mudderford sailor Ken Fowler has sailed around 262 islands in a boat the size of 2 bathtubs. It took him 4 years. Ken Fowler from Mudderford has been given a national award by Cancer Research UK because he's raised more than £75,000 for the charity, and I'm delighted to say that he joins me now. Morning, Ken.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining me this morning, Ken. How does it feel to be Cancer Research's fundraising volunteer of the year?
Completely blown away. Just wasn't expecting it. Yeah, it's incredible. I was fortunate enough the other day to go to the University of Southampton's kind of Centre for Immunology Research, and I saw the amazing work that they do, and it was just absolutely incredible. It really, really was.
Now, tell me all about this challenge. You circumnavigated every island off the English and Welsh coast, and obviously people like me underestimate how many there actually are.
Yeah, and to be honest, I was one of those people. I completely underestimated how many there were. I kind of thought there were maybe about 150. It turned out there were 262. Down in our area, we've got some really interesting islands. We've got Portsea, so a lot of people don't realise where Portsmouth is. It's actually an island, so we had to sail around it and then take our mast down and then paddle under 7 bridges to get all the way around it. We've been around the Isle of Wight as the last island, and that was for us a 13.5-hour sail to get all the way around there. So yeah, just absolutely amazing.
What motivated you to do it, Ken?
For me, in a word, to be honest, cancer. Sadly, my dad died of cancer. He was one of 6 siblings, and 5 of them sadly died of cancer. My mother-in-law to cancer, so I always carry a picture of my father and my mother-in-law in my boat, and to be honest, over the kind of literally thousands of miles we sailed in that very small dinghy, they've been the most magical, amazing inspiration to keep me going on these kind of fundraising causes.
Now, we mentioned this morning that you did this in a boat the size of 2 bathtubs, and I think I should probably specify that you weren't actually circumnavigating all of these islands in 2 bathtubs. It was just a boat the size of those. Tell us about the boat. What kind of boat are we talking about?
Yeah, sure. It's an RS Aero. Funny enough, it's made fairly locally in Romsey. It is literally the size of 2 bathtubs. When you're sailing it, it probably feels generally as wet as well, by the waves coming over you. And it's incredibly light. It literally, most people are amazed, but it weighs about the same as a Labrador dog, which for us, when we've had to literally carry the boat over roads, capsize it under bridges, and drag it literally miles along rivers and beaches as part of the challenge. It's been an absolutely fantastic boat to help us go and do it. But most people would look at it and go, you intend to do what in that small dinghy?
Especially going, all the way to the Isle of Wight and round as well. I mean, every island off the English and Welsh coast, I don't know how our waters fare versus other parts of the world. I don't know if they're particularly difficult or choppy. What were the most difficult points for you in this whole adventure?
Britain is one of the most tidal places in the world. People come here to learn to sail because of that. I think for me, probably the 2 hardest things, one, to keep going over all these years. It's been done in between my work and fitting it into days off. And in terms of the weather, I would say just frustration. Sometimes we would drive all the way down to Land's End. We'd get there and the weather wasn't suitable to sail, and then we'd have to drive all the way back, and knowing I've still got to repeat that journey. But the fundraising's been the motivation to keep us going throughout it. But it has been pretty tough. We've had a couple of capsizes, and probably been in some seas that I probably wouldn't want to face again.
Yeah. Any surprises on the way as well, Ken?
Yeah, massive surprise. When we were out in the Isles of Scilly, we ended up sailing past Wally the Walrus, which was something I never, ever envisaged I would do on my adventures. This walrus was there. He weighed about 30 times the weight of my boat. And literally when he first arrived in the Isles of Scilly, he was clambering onto boats and sinking them. So every day I saw him sitting on the dock, I was very pleased to see him there rather than in the water.
How did it feel to finish as well, Ken, to complete your mission? That must have been quite satisfying for you.
Yeah, totally. I think for me, being local from Muddyford, to be able to sail around the Isle of Wight and sail back to my local beach and land there and have so many friends and my amazingly, wonderfully supportive wife, Fiona, there. Yeah, absolutely magical. I literally got out the boat. It was so shallow and I lay down and I just did a snow angel in the water. I was so pleased that kind of 3.5 years of was tough effort was finally at an end. And we did absolutely incredibly with the fundraising.
Well, congratulations on what you've achieved, not just on the adventure itself, but on the staggering amount of money you've raised and, of course, the award as well. And thank you very much for joining us this morning. That's Muddyford sailor Ken Fowler, who sailed around 262 islands in a boat the size of 2 bathtubs. He's raised more than £75,000 for the charity, and he's been named Cancer Research's Fundraising Volunteer of the Year. Heck of an achievement, and what a guy as well.